You say it a lot with these three quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We'll start with your number 6 quarterback, who was number 4 last year, was number 3 the year before. And so I don't want to start this negative, but he has dropped just a touch. But still, he's awesome.
Yes.
Your number 6 quarterback is?
Justin Herbert, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, again, yeah, okay, he fell down a few spots, sure. I mean, we know this is all these guys we're talking about are epitomize the franchise quarterback, right? And of course, with him being young, still moldable, right? I mean, again, if you said, wait, who are guys you could pick for the future and how would you rank them? Herbert would be like, towards the top of the list here, right? Because of his age and his athletic ability and all that.
A good reminder of this exercise is just looking at next year alone.
Exactly right. It's not who I'm trying to draft for the team to be a guy for, the next 10 to 12 years, okay? So Herbert, as we know, I mean, it's an incredible talent, right? And the first thing I just think when I turn on the film and really watch Justin Herbert, the first thing you notice is his size. I just write, nobody plays bigger in the pocket in all the NFL than Justin Herbert. Nobody. I mean, like he stands in there, and to your Megatron at receiver up in Detroit that you grew up rooting for and everything. I mean, Herbert's kind of like a Megatronish type of quarterback. It's a little bit like RoboCop in there. He just looks like big square shoulders, right? I mean, long arms, nothing around him phases him at all. When there's a pocket, not sure there is more of a machine of a thrower in the NFL than Justin Herbert, right? When the pocket's clean and he can stand there and throw with the proper mechanics, if you told me one guy, hey, we need one guy to hit the bullseye, 99 out of 100 times in the NFL, right? With that clean pocket, Herbert would be in that discussion to go, ooh, I might take Herbert right there. Yeah. Because if he's got a little space and it's all good, man, he almost never misses. I mean, he is a machine. And of course, he has great mechanics on top of that. And we talk about mechanics, right? The ability to replicate something over and over and over is how you become a machine. So that's where he's great. He almost never loses control of the football. Like, you don't see Justin Herbert have a 15-yard out route when the pocket's good and the guy's open and you go, oh, man, he missed the throw. Like, he threw it high. Like, it's almost never. It's almost like he's got time to throw. That guy's kind of open. First down. Like, don't even worry. Just fast forward it. He hit it. Don't worry. Move on to the next play. I promise you. Right? So that's where he's great. Throws the ball great on the run. He's a very good athlete. Right? Very good athlete. Maybe and as I said, maybe the best pure pocket thrower, maybe the best with people around him as well. A little bit of that Jared Goff in him, right? Where people bearing down on him, whatever, it doesn't faze him. Oh, Chris Jones is about to smack me in the face. Well, Keenan Allen's open. I'm just going to sit here and take it, and I'm going to throw a strike, and then I'm going to get crushed in the face and get crushed in the ground, but so be it. He doesn't flinch that way, let alone where he's a little different than maybe like a Goff that we talked about with pressure and had that conversation. Okay, yeah, if he does have to hop or move, he's a little more accurate, and like, he can literally like be bumped and knocked around at times, and you're like, whoa, like, he's so big, he might like get a tackle or a defensive end that kind of hits him and like kind of knocks him off balance, and he's just like, roar, he stands there again and just throws the ball, throws a laser. So that's where his size is a real thing. You heard me say before, he can throw over the line of scrimmage. He's really one of the few in football where I feel like pockets collapsing in his face, and he can kind of just get on his tippy toes and raise his arm level a little bit and go, I'm going to throw over everybody. That's no big deal. I'm big enough to do that, right? So that's where he's really good too. He's incredibly poised in the pocket, in a chaotic pocket. He's like too poised at times, okay? That would be something I would say. And here, if we just get into a negative here, because I'm here at this point.
Don't do too many negatives yet.
Okay, I'm not going to. Just one right off the bat, negative, just off of that. With
wet
the pocket
or whistle
stuff.
With it,
Like, here's to me where he can get better. He has a little bit of I'm a machine, I'm going to be in the pocket, where there's times where I would go, hey, this game isn't one of these let's stay in the pocket forever type games. This game, people aren't open, right? You need to be like 1 to 2. Hey, I got to get out and make a move, scramble to set up and throw somewhere else, or run altogether. I do think that's an area of his game that he can go to the next level in. The backyard department, as we call it here on the Unbuttoned podcast, right?
Yeah.
There is something there in that to his game where I would say, compared to the other guys we're going to talk about here, the next 5, they all have an advantage in the backyard department. And that's something I think that he can look at and get better at, because he certainly has the physical ability to do it.
Herbertron.
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 I like that.
I had never heard the comparison to Megatron before. Herbertron.
I like it.
Justin
really
Herbert,
like it
because I like that. I like that comparison a lot. Okay, so let's look at this. I think the narrative here, and Pete notes in our rundown. Sure, he makes pretty throws, but call me when he wins a big game. And so yeah, they haven't had that team success.
And listen, I take that into account a little here. With this.
You do?
Well. You heard me say the big game, all that. Some of the guys we're going to talk about in a minute, and I said, listen, you can watch the film. You see them yelling at people, getting on people,
so
blah,
that's
blah, blah.
interesting.
And I've made, the last 2 years, leadership, your effect on your own team, the fear you put in the other team when you walk on the field and all that. To me, that's where Herbert does not meet maybe some of the guys we might talk about a little bit.
Are you the man? Can you command the respect? Which I think he does, but does he do it in a way where it can take your team from here to the next level?
Is there an aura there yet?
We do have a comment from one of his former teammates with Oregon, also Chargers linebacker Troy Dye, talking about Justin Herbert's leadership. Someone asked him about that, and this is what he had to say about it.
He's definitely bigger. He's definitely put on a little bit more weight. But I think he's the same. He's always kind of just been an even-killing dude, big-time leader, very not super vocal where he's going to be rah-rah, but like when he needs to say something, he says it. I think his words carry a lot. I think around this building they carry even more weight than they did at Oregon. And he's proven that and he's earned that. And I think that's the biggest thing. And there's no drop off. And that's the thing I love about that dude. He's always the same dude day in and day out, and you can always depend on him. And that's a big factor of why he is who he is.
So you got to kind of read between the lines there a little bit. Clearly not a vocal guy, but it sounds like when he does talk,
he's the man. I mean, everybody
weight.
knows he's the man.
Does he need to continue to develop, evolve? Because you can go back and forth, say, be who you are. You don't want to be something you're not.
Right.
Justin Herbert and his leadership, where does that need to get to?
I think it's like, being that ultimate field general, right? Being that guy that, every now and then, hey, I don't care who you are. Every now and then, to get where you want to go, you might have to yell at the all-line. You might have to yell at the receiver. Mm-hmm. Hey, rookie, what the F are you doing, right? Like, why the did you do that? We talked about it 74 times this week during practice. It's unnecessary sometimes. It's a necessity, right? So those are things I think he could get better at. And you don't see necessarily that emotion during the game. Hey, listen, the calmness, the poise, all of that, hey, it's all great. Certainly it is. But I do think there's something as far as bringing a little edge to your offense, to your team from the quarterback position that does hold great value, right? And not everybody does it the same way. Some people bring the edge a different way, whatever. But I do think like Harbaugh, right, hopefully can bring that out in him a little bit. Harbaugh had that little edge about him, right? He didn't have Herbert's talent, but he did have a little bit of like, hey, you're going to listen to me or I'm going to beat the shit out of you in the equipment room later today.
He's got the crazy man
exactly
man
right.
edge
Well, there's a little crazy translates in the NFL. Crazy translate. You see Mahomes on the sideline sometimes and he's going crazy after a good or a bad play. The team gravitates toward it. They're either like, whoa, he's about to go crazy because he's pissed, or they're like, oh, he's crazy. Listen to him talking shit to Max Crosby and everybody else on our sideline. This is awesome. Let's go. Mahomes is psyched, right? That's the effect you can have. Yeah. Brady's mother effing everybody on the sidelines and the fans and everybody. Let's go. We're the Patriots. We're ready to play ball. That's part of it. Yeah. That's it. And that's, to me, one area he certainly can get better at. And even in that, on the field like we're talking about too, right? Your old quarterback, Detroit, Matthew Stafford, people talked about that with him all the time. Sometimes you need that person to help you. He's not that way anymore. I mean, Matthew Stafford is cussing people out now, cussing his coach out, telling people they're stupid, line up over here, whatever. I mean, he's all over it now. But McVay brought that out of him. Yeah. And then he empowered him, and he makes him, hey, the quarterback position is so important, especially in our team, and all of that. And sometimes age too.
It's like now he's like 14 years
older
than some of these guys.
I've thrown enough for 1,000 yards. Screw all this. I just want to win the damn games. That's right? Right? So all of that. And hopefully Justin Herbert can get that. So it's definitely a piece he's missing.
Well, they still love him, regardless of all that stuff.
Right.
And Jim Harbaugh. And so apparently the Chargers received and rejected trade requests from the New England Patriots, the Minnesota Vikings about Justin Herbert in the offseason. Like, what are you going to do? You got a high pick. Maybe you take J.J. McCarthy. We know Harbaugh likes him. No, they love Justin Herbert. So we'll take a look at his numbers year by year.
Untradeable.
Right?
You can't
Short
get enough. untradeable person in the NFL.
Can't get enough.
Right.
So here he is year by year. Now, his record in 2020, not great, but his numbers were awesome. One of the best rookie seasons that we have seen in the NFL.
It was incredible. That was, Shane Steichen and crew.
38 touchdown passes the very next year, and then the numbers drop off a little bit. Of course, he was hurt last year, did not play in our Peacock game. That is unforgivable.
Yeah.
He broke his finger. What, as a quarterback, the progression of him throughout the years, what has he gotten better at? What do you still wish he was better at than 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, he's gotten better at a lot. I mean, listen, his decision-making is really good, right? His ability to see the field, and of course he's an aggressive decision maker and thrower, where he doesn't make very like, wow, why would you throw that, or oh, that was stupid, right? I mean, he gets fooled every now and then, but it's never like reckless. So and that's never really been part of his game, I would say, right? But I would still say seeing the field better and doing stuff like that is still, he's improved big time in that way. I honestly think some of those offenses he was in early in his career fit him better than some of the ones he's been in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Right? That would be something I would say. And I think that's why you saw such great numbers there. Really, I mean, they were, Shane Steichen and them, they were pretty special in what they did and curtailed things and game plans specifically to go, ooh, I like, he does this really well. We're going to add a few more of these plays into our system, and he took advantage of them, right? But, like, getting back to his things that he can get better at, right?
Yep.
And all of that, like I said, he can pop around the pocket and still throw the ball and do all that good, right? But he needs to run and scramble more. Definitely. Like I said, there's just too many games where, hey, it's, the hell was standing there and just being Herbertron.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We got to start creating some offense. We got to sustain a drive. We got to get a little momentum going. We can't just play it by the book and just be like, nope, I'm in the pocket. Oh, nothing happened. 3 and out. We're punting. Right? You got to will your team a little bit more. And again, I know he wills his team. He's the man. But this is the guy I'm saying that about because I know he has, like, incredible talent, and I know he can do this stuff, right? Like, we're going to talk about, again, some guys later on where I go, hey, it's not always pretty, but they just will their team all the time. They just make plays in every big moment, and they're like, I'm not going 3 and out again. I'm going to scramble or move or do whatever I got to do, right? So I wish he had more arm angles, right? He needs to pop around the pocket a little more instead of being like, wait, I'm just going to stand here and I'm big and strong. I want to be sometimes like, no, hop around and move. This is about to get real tight and your arm's going to get hit as you throw, or you're not going to be able to follow through. So, like, you're not saying you have to leave the pocket all the time, but move around it a little bit better, right? I think that's an area he definitely needs more arm angles. Out of all the quarterbacks we're going to talk about in the top 5, he by far has the least arm angles, by far, out of those guys, right? Again, it's very, I'm Herbotron, like you're talking about. I'm obsessed with that name. I'm going to keep doing it, right? I wish his release was a hair quicker, right? And I wish he could touch it a little bit more, right? Touch it, like a little bit like, hey, just the flick passes I talk about. Hey, there's a guy, Keenan Allen's 12 yards, and he's running to the pylon, right? Just before he comes out of the break, just touch it out there and throw it like 30 yards in the air and throw it high so he can just boom and run underneath it, right? I think those are a few things that he could get better at.
Yeah.
And then with the arm and the pure power, and we know it's an elite class of like Josh Allen and Mahomes, right? He does have a lot of batted balls because his motion is so kind of telegraphed and so standard all the time. So out of all the other great quarterbacks we're going to talk about today too, I would say that pops up on the film a little bit more than most too, because it's just, you see it, and here it comes, and he's reaching up, and it's okay, we know it's going to be right here. Where, hey, Mahomes, Allen, them, it might go under my armpit. I don't know where it's going to go, right? So it's hard to gauge it a little bit more.
All right, I like all that stuff.
Thank you.
Because there's a reason why these guys, and maybe Justin Herbert's dropped a little bit, and why they're not in the next tier up that we'll talk about here in just a second. You talked about the different offenses for Justin Herbert, and maybe the ones early in his career suited him. I'm curious what you think this offense will look like for him, because you got Greg Roman there with Jim Harbaugh, and they came Roman was with them when they had Kaepernick with the 49ers running quarterback.
Then went with the other Harbaugh.
Ravens, with John. And so while he was with the Ravens, Greg Roman, they were really good at running the football, averaged just 486 pass attempts per year. That translates into 29 pass attempts per game. Herbert in his career has averaged 39 per game. And so how different do you think this offense will look, and will it serve Justin Herbert?
I do. Now, I don't know if, hey, listen, their talent at receiver we know it has to grow a little bit, right? They got some guys that are unproven commodities as we sit there right now, and what they can do and how they can add to the football team. We're going to see. Yeah, there's some development that's needed there, right? But I think overall, this is going to be better for Justin Herbert. It's going to be like what you said, all right? I think, somewhere 29, 30, 32, that's the perfect spot for them. 39, 40 all the time was always like, well, yep, it's the Chargers. They can't run the ball. All right, Justin Herbert's going to have to throw it. Okay, yep, they suck on defense right now. So, yep, he'll have to throw it more, right? This is going to be more of a team game, and a little bit more where I think the pressure will be taken off of him to a degree on a play-by-play basis, and be reapplied in more of, hey, get us to the right checks, do this, and then instead of having the pressure of every play being like, hey, we're going to throw it, 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 because we can't do anything else, now it's going to be like, when we do throw it, we're expecting and like, cha-ching, we are going to throw it, and we want a 30-yard completion, right? And that's a little bit more where he was early on in the career, is that type of stuff. So that's where I think it can fit him. Right, I think it's going to be, we're going to play D, we're going to run the ball, but we're not going to make you throw any, you're not made to be throwing three-step game. Let me jam in another 4-yard completion so much. They do that too much, right? They're going to play, let people get downfield, let the play develop, because we have a guy that can stand there and throw the ball with the best of them.
You got an offensive line who maybe you can run behind. You got Rashawn Slater. You got 3 former first-round picks.
That's what I mean.
Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson. You got Joe Alt this year. You got J.K. Dobbins. You got Gus Edwards.
Like Quentin Johnson, go downfield, right? Work the downfield routes, and now you got a guy we know that can make all those throws in his sleep, really.
McConkey, working the slot.
Yeah, work the slot, right? They got a nice little combination there.
It'll be interesting to see what they're able to put together. Pete puts a question in here.
Okay.
Is Justin Herbert just Matthew Stafford 10 years later? So Stafford turned 36 in February. Justin Herbert turned 26 in March. And we do have a picture of Justin Herbert recently, some video. A no-look pass at Chargers practice. He is becoming Matthew Stafford before our eyes. There it is. He was not looking at that receiver.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know. I guess Twitter account says he was not.
I don't know if that's no look. It's a damn good throw. I'll just say that. But damn, to me, when they look like they're looking right, or maybe they mean the people that are filming this are not looking where he's looking. I'm taking a shot at you, Chargers social media. I know. I'm scared to, because I know how good they are on social media. But he can do that.
That was a great throw and a good arm, which was like Matthew Stafford. 10 years
not
ago.
All no looks are equal either, right?
True.
The no look of like, wait, I'm looking at you and I'm just throwing right here is not nearly as impressive as I'm looking over there and going to no-look it over there, right? There's a difference there in the no-look.
To it.
But he certainly can do that. He's extremely talented, and I think we hit on it. I mean, to me, I just want a little bit more backyardy in him in the right situations. And certain games where hey, the offense is stalling, we're not doing it, guys aren't popping open all the time. I got to be a little quicker in these games to go, hey, I'm going to put it on me to make sure we keep the momentum going as on a drive. And like I said, some of the guys we're going to talk about here just have a little bit better feel, I think, as far as the overall game, moving the chains. Let's just get in the end zone, maybe than a Justin Herbert. And again, I don't want to be too negative there.
No, I get it.
You know how awesome I think he is.
You love him.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.